Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudirait. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we're going to now discuss about Ṛṣabhadeva, Canto 5. So we finished Prithu Maharaj. After that, there is a beautiful chapter in the fourth canto, the song Rudragit, song sung by Lord Shiva, that you can read. Then after that, it is Prachina Bari and Prachina Bari is a episode. So which is mostly the main learning from there is uh, that he was too involved in sense gratification, and Narada Muni actually talks to Prachina Bari to pull him out of it. And one of the main lessons also is for people who eat meat or who kill animals, who are responsible for killing innocent animals. Those animals will be waiting for that person or persons to die so that they can inflict the same pain. Of course, they'll also go to Naraka, etc. So those are some of the things. Now we are moved to Canto 5, starting from chapter 3. Ṛṣabhadeva's appearance in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of King Nabi. Shukuvacha Nabirapatya-kamo aprajaya Merudevya Bhagavantam Yagna-purusham avahitat maya jata. So this is a prose line, not a poetry. Normally we see like Anushtup. We see that 2-3 words in one line, but this is like prose, meaning it's not poem, it's story. So some verses are prose in Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami continued to speak. Maharaja Navi, the son of Agnidhra, wished to have sons, and therefore he attentively began to offer prayers and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Vishnu, the master and enjoyer of all sacrifices. Okay, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, master and enjoyer of all sacrifices. Maharaja Nabhi's wife, Meru Devi, who had not given birth to any children at that time, also worshipped Lord Vishnu along with her husband. So Maharaja Nabhi and Meru Devi wished to have sons, and they attentively began to offer prayers and worship the Supreme Lord. Tasya hava shraddhaya vishuddha bhavena yajata pravartyeshu pracharatsu द्रव्य देश काल मंत्र मंत्रत्विग दक्षिणा विधान योगोपपत्या दुरधिगमो अपि भगवान् भागवत वात्सल्यतया सुप्रतीक आत्मानम् अपराजितं निज जनाभिप्रेतार्थ विदित्सया गृहीत हृदयंगमं मनोनयनानन्दना Vaabhiramam Avishtakara. In the performance of a sacrifice, there are 7 transcendental means to obtain the mercy of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Number 1, by sacrificing valuable things or eatables. Number 2, by acting in terms of place. Number 3, by acting in terms of time. by offering hymns, by going through the priest, by offering gifts to the priests, and by observing the regulative principles. So this is for yagna, doing lots of yagna, traditional yagna. However, one cannot always obtain the Supreme Lord through this paraphernalia. So if we simply do yagna, no guarantee that we can achieve the Supreme Lord. Nonetheless, the Lord is affectionate to his devotee. Therefore, when Maharaj Navi, who was a devotee, worshipped and offered praise to the Lord with great faith and devotion, and with a pure, uncontaminated mind, superficially performing some yagna in the line of pravargya, the kind Supreme Personality of Godhead, due to his affection for his devotees, appeared before King Nabhi in his unconquerable and captivating form with four hands. In this way, to fulfill the desire of his devotee, the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested himself in his beautiful body before his devotee. This body pleases the mind and eyes of the devotees. Hmm. So the process of yagna, there is no guarantee that one will obtain the Supreme Lord through such yagna. But because the Lord is affectionate to his devotee, and because Maharaj and Nabhi was a devotee and he worshipped and offered praise to the Lord with great faith and devotion. So in this case, Maharaj Nabhi and Meru Devi wanting to have children were just because it was their responsibility, right? As a king, he had to have a succession, he had to have a son. So just as a matter of duty, right? So with great faith and they had full faith in the Supreme Lord, with great faith and devotion, and with a pure, uncontaminated mind, meaning pure desire. Superficially performing some yagna. Mm. So this is also very important for us, right? So there is apavarga. Apavarga is the path of liberation. Pavarga is the path of bondage or betterment, better material situation. So yeah, generally, if you go to some astrologer and ask him what needs to be done, they will give you some karma kanda process. Right, so this was like one of those karma kanda process, but he was just superficially performing. He was not really. He was performing that more to set Mahajana, Gatasya Panta. He was the king, so he had to show the way. But internally, whatever they were doing, it didn't affect him. He was fixed in devotion to the Supreme Lord, and he was praying, worshipping and praying Supreme Lord. Of course, here this yagna was not possibly some demigod worship. But he, whatever was the process, he was just following some process, but his mind was fixed. It was pure, it was uncontaminated. He had great faith, devotion. Uh, so he offered worship to Supreme Personality of Godhead. And due to his affection for his devotees, Lord appeared. Lord appeared because they were worshipping him with so much devotion. And the Lord appeared. What did Lord appear? Lord appeared in his unconquerable, captivating form with four hands. In this way, to fulfill the desire of his devotee who wanted to have a child, Supreme Lord manifested himself in his beautiful body. And this body pleases the mind and eyes of the devotees. That we all know. The beauty of the Lord, beautiful form of Krishna, mm, pleases the mind and eyes of the devotees. And Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said, Bhaktya mam vijanati yavaneschasmi tattvatha tato mam tattvato gnatva vishate tad anantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. Bhaktya mam vijanati. And when one is in full consciousness, tato mam tattvato gnatva vishate tad anantaram. One who is in full consciousness of Supreme Lord by such devotion, vishate tad anantaram. He can enter into the kingdom of God. 18 chapter 55. One can understand and see the Supreme Lord through the process of devotional service and not in any other way. Although Maharaja Navi performed prescribed duties and sacrifices, it should still be considered that the Lord appeared before him not due to his sacrifices, but because of his devotional service. It was for this reason that the Lord agreed to appear before him in his beautiful bodily features. Supreme Lord in his original nature is very beautiful. Venam Kvanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Varhavatamsam Asitambuda Sundarangam Andat Pakotikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Supreme Lord, although blackish, very, very beautiful. Generally, black is considered low birth from a material perspective. Somebody is dark, not beautiful, etc. Considered as a low birth materially. But Krishna's black is the most glorious. Anyway, so these considerations of color, where one is born, etc. It doesn't matter for when one becomes a devotee. But otherwise, materially considering, these are all called our prarabdha karma. Prarabdha, meaning the type of body, the type of birth that we have got, actually is based on our previous whatever the karma that we have to enjoy or suffer in this life. And generally, Shastra says Janma Ishwarya Suta Shri. So good birth, lot of wealth, lot of good education, beauty. All this is because of previous punya. And the opposite is due to papa. But Supreme Lord is above all this. Yeah, Prabhu.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. True that in context of Maharaj Nabi, what is the meaning of this acting in terms of place and time?
No, yeah. So for every, see, as part of prescribed duties, which is Varnashrama, Varnashrama has specific recommendations. For example, what does for time is muhurta, right? For yagna there has to be muhurta. Place based on where you're doing worship, what kind of worship, there will be things that you will have to do. So everything, there are rules and regulations for all of this, right? It could be also direction considerations will also be there here in term when it is in terms of place. So for performing yagna, there are a lot of considerations, which only those yagnik brahmanas, they will be able to, specifically mention what with respect to specific sacrifices that are being done. What is this significance of the place or time, etc. Right? So, for example, some yagnas are to be performed in certain places only, like that. So there are so many considerations. I mean, it's a big subject by itself. So yeah, these things can be considered.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not going to read this much Sanskrit. Okay. Lord Vishnu appeared before King Nabi with 4 arms. He was very bright. Okay, let's see. Atha, tam, him. Avishkrita bhuja yugala dvayam. Avishkrita, meaning manifested. Avishkrita means that appeared. Bhuja yugala. Dvayam. Bhuja yugala. Yugala means two. Dvayam means two. So 2 into 2 is 4. 4 arms. Hiranmayam. Hiranmayam. Very bright. Purusha Vishesham. So these things, one of the things that we should possibly develop a taste for is these Sanskrit descriptions. It's one thing to read English, right? But because English is not our mother tongue, we don't really derive too much pleasure out of it. Like it's one thing to read who manifested himself with 4 arms, right? But actually, it is who manifested himself with the 2 into 2 arms, like that. As in, Sanskrit has its own sweetness. Avishkruta, Bhuja Yugala Dvayam is so beautiful. Uh, Purusha Vishesham. Purusha, we know Purusha, all beings. Vishesham, topmost, very special. Purushottama, Purusha Vishesham or Purushottama. Kapisha Kausheya Ambaradharam. Kapisha Kausheya Ambara. Ambara means cloth. Dharam means wearing. Wearing a yellow silk garment. Kapisha Kausheya. Where was he wearing on the chest? Oh no, Urasi on the chest. Vilasat Srivatsa. Vilasat, beautiful Srivatsa. Is a mark of Lakshmi Devi on his chest. Mm, mm, Lalamam is posing the mark. Daravara by a conch shell. Vana Ruha. See, only not Padma. So Vana Ruha also means lotus flower. Vanamala. Krishna is also called Vanamali. Garland of forest flowers. Achuri. Amrutamani. Achuri, he has a disc. Amrutamani, Kaustuba gem. Gada Adibihi. Club and other symbols. Mm, Upalakshitam Sputa Kirana. Sputa Kirana. Radiant. Mm, Pravara Mukuta. Excellent helmet. Kundala. Then Kataka. Kundala is earrings. Kataka bracelets. Katisutra girdle. What they wear against the around the waist. Hara necklace. Keyura armlets. Nupura ankle bells. Adi and so on. Anga Bhushana. Ornaments of the body. Vibhushitam decorated with those ornaments. Ritvik priests. Sadasya associates. Grihapatayaha. King Nabi. Adhanaha, poor persons, Iva, Uttama Dhanam, great treasure, Upalabhya, having achieved, Sabahu Manam, great regard, Arhanena, with ingredients for worship, Avanata, bent Shirshanaha, the heads, Upa, Tastuhu, worship. Lord Vishnu appeared before King Nabi with 4 arms. He was very bright, Hiranmayam. He appeared to be the best of all personalities, Purusha Vishesha. Around the lower portion of his body, he wore a yellow silken garment. Kapisha Kausheya Ambaradharam. Mm. On his chest was the mark of Srivatsa, which was beautiful, which displays beauty. Okay, carried a conch shell, lotus flower, Vanaruha, then Chakra, Gada, and Vanamali, Kaustuba. What is the other name for Kaustuba? Amrutamani. Amrutamani. Beautifully decorated with a helmet, earrings, kundala, bangles, where is that? Bangles, kataka, belt, katisutra, pearl necklace, hara, armlets, keyura, ankle bells, nupura, adi, and other bodily ornaments bedecked with radiant jewels. Radiant jewels. It was radiant here. Putakirana. Seeing the Lord present before them, King Nabi and his priests and associates felt just like poor people who suddenly attained great riches. They received the Lord and respectfully bent their heads and offered him things in worship. Purport. It is distinctly mentioned here that Supreme Personality of Godhead did not appear as an ordinary human being. He appeared before King Nabi and his associates as the best of personalities, Purushottama, as stated in the Vedas, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The Supreme Lord is also a living being, but he is the supreme living being. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna himself says, Matta Paratanam Nanyat Kinti Jasti Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya, there is no truth superior to me. No one is more attractive. Prabhupada mixing two things, more attractive or more authoritative. Hmm. Attractive and authoritative, both superlative qualities in Krishna. That is one of the differences between God and an ordinary living being. According to this description of the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu, the Lord can easily be distinguished from all other living beings. So this is one of the things that we should do is remember. How do we remember the form of the Lord in a authentic, authorized way? Is by remembering such verses or such words, phrases which describe the Lord. So if we can remember this whole these all these words, then we actually can, by chanting such verses, we'll remember the beautiful form of the Lord. Hmm. And that's something that we should all try as we make progress in bhakti. We should try to develop some, ruchi, taste for these things, for hearing original Sanskrit words, which will actually, you know, we it will appeal to us because all our most of our languages vernacular local languages in India are all based on Sanskrit. So many words would be similar in in other languages, etc. So it's nice to remember those, and by that we'll actually remember the beautiful form of the Lord. Hmm. Hmm. Consequently, Maharaj Navi and his priests and associates all offered the Lord obeisances and began to worship him with various things. Stated in Bhagavad Gita 6:22. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate na adhikam tataha. Yam labdva, upon gaining this what? Gaining Krishna, Supreme Lord. Na, one thinks that there's nothing more superior to achieve. Mm. There's no greater gain. When one realizes God and sees the Lord face to face, just imagine seeing the Lord face to face. One certainly thinks that he has gained the best of all things. Rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate vishayam nivartante niraharasya dehinah. Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. One experiences higher taste, his consciousness is fixed. After seeing the Supreme Person of Godhead, one ceases to be attracted by anything material. Yeah, we can see this, just by seeing the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord only, we'll cease to get attracted by things material. Just imagine if not Krishna's incarnation, but Krishna himself is present. How it will be. One then remains steady in the worship of the Supreme Lord. So we should desire this. We should all desire this. We should want to see the Lord with this eyes in this life. We should desire this. Whenever we hear things like this, we should feel like, oh yes, I also want to see the Lord. But yeah, I'm not qualified. But the Supreme Lord is so merciful that if we sincerely desire, greed to see Him, it's okay. It's not against pure devotion to want to see the Lord. Yeah, we want to see the Lord because through that also we are going to serve Him only, right? But devotee desires to serve Krishna in his association. But yeah, if Lord wants a devotee to be somewhere else, away from him, in separation, serving, that's also fine with the devotee. Like Prabhupada said, Krishna wanted me to come here, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to leave him and come. No, devotees don't want to leave Krishna. Because whatever it is, it's not the same as in the spiritual world. So one has to develop this, this hankering. Saying, yes, I want to see the Lord. I want to be with the Lord. And Krishna uh, his qualities are so sweet that even Mahavishnu desires to associate with Krishna. So we know in Krishna book, Bhagavatam 10th canto, that Brahmana in Dwaraka, Brahmana's children are continuously getting killed, and Arjuna takes the commitment to protect. But then the next child born is also dies, and then Arjuna tries to find the culprit, but he's not able to. He's ready to give up his life. Then Krishna takes Arjuna to Mahavishnu. So the description is there. And elsewhere also it is said, actually the beautiful form of Krishna, even it attracts even the mind of Mahavishnu. So yeah, Madhuradipate Akilam Madhuram. So one remains steady in worship of the Supreme Lord. Once he sees, or even here, Prabhupada is saying, in experiencing a higher taste, one remains fixed. Okay, the priest began to offer prayers to the Lord, saying, "O most worshipable one, we are simply your servants. Although you are full in yourself, please, out of your causeless mercy, see, so nice, humble, please, out of your causeless mercy, accept a little service from us. You're full in yourself. What can we offer you? But please, Mm. Out of your causeless mercy, you accept. What can we do? We can give something to the Lord. Can we offer food to the Lord? Can we offer our money to the Lord? What can we offer? Hmm. Yeah, first thing is everything is coming from Him. Second is He is full in Himself. He doesn't want any of this. It's only for the benefit of the devotee that the devotee offers. And um, but still, the offering must be with this mood. Please accept my bhoga. I know I'm not pure. I'm not qualified to offer you. But please, out of your causeless mercy, and you also don't need it. So out of your causeless mercy, please accept this little service. We're not actually aware of your transcendental form, but we can simply offer our respectful obeisances again and again, as instructed by the Vedic literatures and acharyas. Materialistic living entities are very much attracted to the modes of material nature, and therefore they are never perfect. But you are above the jurisdiction of all material conceptions. Your name, form, and qualities are all transcendental and beyond the conception of experimental knowledge. Indeed, who can conceive of you? In the material world, we can perceive only material names and qualities. We have no other power than to offer our respectful obeisances and prayers unto you, the transcendental person. The chanting of your auspicious transcendental qualities will wipe out the sins of all mankind. That is the most auspicious activity for us. So, what we do every day in the morning is the most auspicious activity. 8:20 to 9 o'clock every day we do. We are chanting the auspicious transcendental qualities, glories of the Supreme Lord. It has to wipe out all the sins of mankind. And so, for all of us who are engaged in this service every day, it should wipe out all our sins. That is the most auspicious activity for us, and we can thus partially understand your supernatural position. Yes, partially understand God's position. Nobody can understand himself. I understand Krishna fully. Krishna himself cannot. Mm. How is everything about him is uh, unlimited, ever expanding. His own beauty. Krishna was bewildered by looking at his own reflection in the jewels in his palace, and he was like, "Who is this? Such a beautiful, sweet person." So even Krishna can't. It's just beyond even Krishna. Krishna himself is unlimited, but his qualities are also unlimited. His beauty is also unlimited. Everything competes with each other. Satchit Ananda compete with each other. Their Shaktis. They go on increasing in Krishna. The Supreme Person of Godhead has nothing to do with the material perception. Even the impersonalist Shankaracharya says Narayana Paro Avyaktat. Narayana is beyond Para. He's Para Avyakta. Um, We cannot concoct the form and attributes of the Supreme Person of Godhead. We must simply accept the description given in Vedic literatures. That's why Prabhupada said all the paintings in ISKCON are all authentic, especially those that were done when Prabhupada's presence, because Prabhupada directly came from the spiritual world. So if he approved of something, that means yes, that is there. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Lakshagrateshu Surabhiravipalantam Lakshmi Sahasrashata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, mm, Adi Purusham, primeval Lord, who is tending the cows, mm, yielding all desires. Surabhiravipalantam. Okay, in abodes built with Chintamani Prakara Sadmasukalpa, built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees, Kalpa Vruksha. Lakshavrateshu is also served with great reverence, Lakshmi Sahasrashata, and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddess of fortune. We can have some conception of the absolute truth. his form and his attributes. Simply by reading the descriptions given in the Vedic literatures and authoritative statements given by exalted personalities like Brahma, Narada, Shukadeva, Goswami, and others. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Ada Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyahi. We cannot conceive the name, form, and qualities of Sri Krishna through our material senses. Sevanmukhe hi jivado. Because of this, other names for the Lord are Adhokshaja and Aprakrita. Adhokshaja, beyond material senses. Out of his causeless mercy upon his devotees, the Lord appeared before Maharaja Nabhi. Similarly, please note, when we are engaged in the Lord's devotional service, the Lord reveals himself to us. Sevan mukhe hi jivado swayam eva. Swayam eva. We can't force Krishna. Spurati. Spurati means manifest or reveals. This is the only way to understand the Supreme Person of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavan Ishchasmi Tattvataha. One can understand the Supreme Person of Godhead through devotional service. There is no other way. We have to hear from authorities and from the Shastras and consider the Supreme Lord in terms of their statements. We cannot imagine or concoct forms and attributes of the Lord. So, one of the things, um, okay, one of the things actually is to, like, people generally they have this like coin collection. They do different kinds of collections. Like previously, people used to do stamp collection. Nowadays, all these things don't exist. Like that, we should do collection of the beautiful forms and the attributes of the Lord from Bhagavatam. We should do a collection. Like one collection, like is Vishnu Sahasranama, which is like a collection of 1,000 names glorifying the Supreme Lord. Like that, even from Bhagavatam, there's so many beautiful. Like last verse we were reading, there's so many beautiful descriptions of the attributes, qualities of the Lord. So we should not concoct or imagine. Instead, we should collect. We should collect all these beautiful descriptions in Bhagavatam and make like a, actually. I was thinking it will be nice to make a book like that, which just describes all these various beautiful characteristics of the Lord. Anyway, let's see, somehow that desire has come to my mind. Krishna willing. Okay, so here Shashank Prabhu is asking me a question. When we have strong desire and aim to see Krishna only, to associate with Krishna only, to serve Krishna only, but still why Krishna places in other planets? Because that we are just trying to reawaken our desire now. But previously we wanted desire to be away from Krishna. So we are in this material world, number one. Number two, if we really don't have any affection towards material things, yeah, then Krishna could have sent us here on a mission to make other people Krishna conscious. But that is for very, very exalted souls. Um, yeah, okay, Prabhu wants to drop off. Okay, yeah, so uh, Nitya Baddha and Nitya Siddha or Nitya Mukta. Right, so the Nitya Siddha devotees, they almost always remain in constant touch with the Lord, and even if they are here for some purpose, um, yeah, it's just to make others Krishna conscious, whatever is the mission of the Lord. But for most of others in the material world, they are Nitya Baddha, so they've been like conditioned, bound for many lifetimes. But somehow, over years, over multiple lifetimes of doing bhakti, little by little, we made progress, and now, yeah, we might come to the stage of saying, okay, I want only this, I don't want anything else, which is very nice. Which shows that we are fortunate and we are making progress towards Krishna. Okay, then stop here. Any other questions, comments? Okay, there's nothing else, then we can end. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम।
हरे
हरे कृष्ण।